Hello everyone, welcome to Hot Cars and welcome to Lincoln's 2021 Corsair. This is their compact crossover and the model I'm testing is the top trim reserve with the 2-litre engine and all-wheel drive. This is secretly Lincoln's best model, in my opinion. I think it's the best representation of their latest design language inside and out, the best implementation of their technology. And as I'll show you when we're in the cabin, it's built really well too. So hop in with me and we'll go for a drive so I can show you everything that I've found out after living with this Corsair for a week. In case you don't know, the Corsair replaced the MKC, the compact crossover, in 2020 with this all-new platform that's largely shared with the new Ford Escape. The Ford Escape, as it stands, in my opinion, is a pretty decent vehicle. Nice to drive, got all the technology you could look for, and this is a great starting point, a great foundation as to which this Corsair is built. This 2-litre engine is the same unit found in the Escape, and it represents the base engine for the Corsair, whilst in the Escape it's the top of the line. This configuration makes 250 horsepower and 275 pound-feet of torque. You can option up for the 2.3-litre engine, which I tested out last year. That power plant has 280 horsepower and 310 pound-feet of torque. It doesn't feel like a major step up over this, and I really don't think you're missing out on anything by having this smaller engine. Towing capacity is the same, the fuel efficiency is slightly better for this 2-litre, and there's quite a lot of punch when you pin the throttle. Great pickup for speed, and the 8-speed transmission that's in this vehicle works incredibly well. I really like driving this Corsair, and one of the critical options ticked in the model I'm testing out is the adaptive suspension system, which really changes around the driving dynamics of this vehicle compared to the standard suspension system. You have a few different driving modes with the Corsair. So you'll start off in normal mode, and when you go to the left, you'll see you've got conserve and excite mode. Go all the way to the other side, you've got slippery and deep conditions, and you get all of these beautiful animations. But I'm going to bring up some of the options that really inflate the price of this Corsair. So the monochromatic pack, that gives the grille, the badging, and a few other body components the same color as the rest of the body. And you get these exclusive 20-inch black wheels. They look fantastic. I kind of wish they were a standalone feature. You could get a la carte from the monochromatic pack, but as it stands right now, you can't. There's also the Co-Pilot 360 Plus, which is a very long-winded way to call Ford's branded safety system with all of their latest features like radar-assisted cruise control, blind spot warning, and automatic lane centering. We have the 24-way adjustable massaging front seats that are the best use of this system that I've seen so far on a Lincoln. When I first tested out Lincolns and they had this new system, the seats creaked a little bit. They were flexing in all the wrong ways, but these ones are definitely the best I've come across. They don't rattle, they don't shake, they don't have that one component that lifts the shoulder blades up a little bit. They're fixed to the seat backs, and due to that, when you look beside you at the passenger seat, there isn't a big air gap that just gets filled with dust and overall doesn't look all that well made. Using that term, the cabin is a really lovely place to sit. All of this caramel coloring of leather that you see across the vehicle is really rich, really smooth to the touch, and this vehicle is meant to go up against an Audi Q5, a BMW X3, and it really does feel like this Lincoln has enough substance behind it. It doesn't feel like being in this vehicle that you're cheaped out, that you're missing out on what a premium experience should be. Road noise is very well isolated. Going on the highway speed, very quiet. There are definitely some elements though that could be improved upon, like up here it's the fake leather, and then right beside it hard plastics, and then at the bottom hard plastics, even though that's not really out of the ordinary for this class. But just how deep set the leather and the foam is on the steering wheel. We've got genuine wood in this model, and enough clever integration of the climate control system and how you interact with the 8-inch screen. makes you feel like you're in something more than a badge engineered Ford. And I know that's something that they've really been working on their latest product lineup, and that really started with the latest generation of Navigator. That was what this company needed to separate itself from Ford and give you something that's a lot more worthwhile inside to look at and to drive. A few other premium touches you'll notice when living with the Corsair is that when you've got the key in your pocket and you approach it late at night, all of the LED lighting slowly glows to welcome you towards the car. And when you're starting up the car, you're using the indicators, you're using anything that would emit sound, it has its own separate sound to something you'd find in a Ford, for example. Even though there's some piano black plastic that I'm never really fond of, it is limited largely to what you have around the climate control system. But then elsewhere there's this textured plastic that has the lines cut into it so it makes that kind of a noise, and overall stays cleaner and will hopefully look newer for longer. Where the Corsair misses out against its German competition is definitely when you want an engaging drive. You can switch to the Excite mode, the Sport mode. You can use the paddles behind the steering wheel to change that 8-speed gearbox, but it doesn't really do enough to excite you. The transmission seems very slow to respond to my input. Leaving it in automatic mode though, seems like it has enough wisdom to know what to do and when to do it appropriately. To me, it doesn't seem like this is something that Lincoln is prioritizing, and really that's no problem because the Corsair feels more like traditional luxury. This is what our grandparents would call swanky. Yes, it has a lot of technology in it, but it isn't overburdened by it either. Speaking on that technology, in this top trim model with the 12.3-inch digital screen and the heads-up unit, it delivers a very interesting driving style where you have the option in this Lincoln to have the calm screen setup where you only have your speedo, your temperature gauge, and your fuel gauge. Outside of that, it can just be a totally black screen if you want it to. If not, you can have your music playing, you can add a tachometer, you can put up the trip computer on the right-hand side. But what I really like about this is that it's a minimalist display that keeps you focused on the road. And with the combination of this heads-up unit, because really the most important thing when you're driving is what speed you're going and maybe what speed this road is, you've got that on the heads-up unit. So you're always focusing on the road and not immediately distracted by anything else in front of you in the cabin. A little bit of storage where you've got your main phone plug-in that you can hide away, and at night there's a Lincoln logo illuminated. And the integration of the piano key style push button for gear selector, I think will be frustrating for anyone that doesn't like push button selectors to start off with, because quite frankly, they aren't as easy to use and as simple to put in reverse and drive as a gear shifter. But it's nicely integrated, it hides away, and it really doesn't take up much space at all. Let's move things on and talk about the rear seat space. Unfortunately, with the Corsair, it doesn't have the three-way folding seats, which I think is critical for this class of car. If you want to make a vehicle that's a hatchback sort of size, then you have to make it more useful and more practical inside. And I see a lot of potential customers using a vehicle like this to take them up to the ski hills, that kind of a thing, and not being able to fold down the middle seat, I can see is going to be a major turnoff for those kind of customers. It is nice though that being 6'4", I can sit behind myself, and even with this full-size glass roof, which is beautiful to look through. Rear seat occupants, the outside ones, have their own heated seats, and the seats can fold forwards and backwards and recline a little bit too. With the boot space, a feature that I don't think you'll find in anything else in this class is a push button to drop down that second row seat, so that's pretty convenient. And the space underneath the false floor, you could put a space saver spare wheel if you wanted to. Doesn't seem like there's one that comes straight from the factory, as you only have a tire inflation kit back there. But you also have a little more storage on the side to help you hide away some items under the false floor. So those are all my thoughts towards Lincoln's 2021 Corsair. As I said in the video, I think this is the best representation of what Lincoln is currently doing. And if you are in the market to try out a vehicle like this, the Lincoln is definitely a left field choice. But if you go for a vehicle that has a lot less options built into it than this one, I think you could be looking at a good value competitor up against those very popular products. So thank you very much for watching on Hot Cars. Please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, all of those other wonderful things really help this channel out a lot. Thanks for watching. My name's Max Landy. Thanks for checking out the 2021 Lincoln Corsair.